Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, I urge a favorable report on HB1104, a bill that would clearly define the scope of Maryland's background check requirement and require a background check on all transfers, both temporary and permanent, of regulated firearms. This bill codifies a definition that will allow prosecutors to fully charge individuals who traffic regulated firearms.
My name is Samuel Levy. I'm Senior Counsel at Everytown for Gun Safety, and I'm here today to urge favorable vote on this bill with an amendment that I'll mention briefly. As the delegate mentioned, since 1996, Maryland has had a comprehensive background check law. Those types of laws are the backbone of keeping guns out of the hands of dangerous people who our laws prohibit from having them, and to preventing the illegal sale and trafficking of those weapons. The error, as the delegate pointed out, is that the term transfer is not defined, and as a result, though the intent of the law was to broadly cover any time one of these regulated firearms changes hands, be it a permanent or temporary transfer, gratuitous, or for consideration, the Chow Court was left to interpret that term and came to a different conclusion than the Court of Special Appeals, who ruled, as the state argued before the court in Chow, that it was meant to be a broadly interpreted word, and instead narrowed that definition to what we have now. And as a result, the enforcement and efficacy of that law has been badly undermined. There is an oversight in the bill with respect to the exemption. The exemption that would apply here, and the only one that would apply, would be temporary transfers in the actual presence of the transferee. As written, those things are separated by an or. That should be an inclusive single exception. So with that one distinction, we do stand and urge support for this bill as amended.
Changing the bill at the last second to include, instead of the disjunctive or, into the conjunctive and, dramatically and without notice changes the meaning of this bill. We addressed this very issue last year on a bill HB 96 and SB 346, and the compromise reached by this body and by the Senate was to amend Section 5-134 of the Public Safety Article to ban the loan, the temporary transfer of a regulated firearm to a prohibited person. That's a 5-year crime sentence. So this bill will now change, overrule Chow, to ban the transfer of my handgun to my spouse when I leave the house and send me to jail for doing so. That was precisely the issue that caused the compromise last year. Senator Norman made the point to the prosecutor that presented the bill 2 years ago, and he says, wouldn't I go to jail? And the prosecutor said, yes, you would, but don't worry, Senator. I won't prosecute you. So what you're leaving then in the prosecutor's discretion is an enormous amount of power to send people to prison. We very much oppose this bill, especially as amended.